All right, we're gonna kick this thing off. Okay, so you've got some news on what, Russia, right? Is that what you're
Oh
saying?
yeah. Are we going?
Yeah, we're going. We're good.
All right. So let me get out my notes here.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody's aware that Russia lost its flagship in the war in Ukraine about a month ago.
The Moskva.
The Moskva, this big, giant, overly armed frigate,
Thought
and
it
it
was a
apparently
destroyer
sank.
or like a cruiser.
It was something. It's confusing how their ships are. I mean, not to go off topic, but like their carriers were called carrier. What the hell did they call them? Carrier battle cruisers. Carrier battle cruisers, because they put so many goddamn guns on their carriers that they didn't need a support fleet. However, that
Well,
makes
I
sense. I
mean,
mean, I
well,
guess
to be fair, to that end, I think that the new U.S. fleet can also be confusing. So just gonna throw that out there.
yeah.
Our new those destroyers that they made in like the early mid 2000s that totally failed, by the way. Like they're scrapping them and
Yeah, they got 2 years. They got 2 years of just not of them not working.
yeah,
But anyways,
how many billions of dollars? Anyway, go ahead.
yeah, Lockheed
Back
Martin
to the
is just
Moskva.
yeah the Moskva. So it went from being Russia's uh, number one flagship in the region in the Black Sea, and now it's a submarine that doesn't do anything.
It's
So,
a submarine. I shouldn't laugh.
so Russia completely denies that Ukraine sank this motherfucker, and Ukraine is completely saying, "Oh yeah, we killed this thing with Neptune missiles." And from what I've been told from our Norwegian friends, the Neptune missile system is this like tiny little missile system that two guys can throw in a fucking rip boat, go out to some island somewhere, set this thing up, and it goes, and basically this ship goes sailing past. It'll launch two missiles up and fucking come in and fucking kill the ship. So
Hmm.
if they, so if the so if the ship can take out, well, usually take out one, but the other one's more than enough to knock the ship out. So this ship that they freaking sank, the Moskva, whatever,
Moskva.
they dead centered the engine room on it. Like they did a really good job of killing that fucking ship.
Nice.
And so just before we get on to talk about this today, this thing pops up and it says Russia's newest flagship is on fire in the Black Sea outside Snake Island. And I'm just like, there's no way. There's no fucking way. It's like they fucked up
Listen,
again. They
it's
fucked up again.
I just want to say this one thing, okay? You know, the United States, and we're both vets, right? And we're both
Yeah.
vets of a 20-year war that we just lost.
Yeah.
But god damn, we didn't lose it that bad. You know, like what
We
the?
did have we okay, yeah. So we did have losses. There was a lot of
Yes,
unnecessary.
I,
The
I
war should never have gone on for 20
I'm
years.
not downplaying it by any means. I'm not down at all. Like I'm not downplaying the loss that we took, but
But
it's crazy to me that the number two power, like the number two boogeyman out of the big three in the
the
world.
motherfuckers we have been scared of
Yeah,
for
like
right
we have
long.
not
Like
wanted to
right
go to war
long,
with these
right long.
guys because they're just, like if anyone can beat the United States, it's these guys.
It's Russia
And
with
then
their Red Dawn.
it's
Yeah.
like, oh my god, like it's just left and right, like
Yeah.
blunders. I'm just like, what? How? Why? This is what we were afraid of. Like,
Yeah.
goddamn.
But yeah, so Ukraine is now reporting as of today the Admiral Makarov, which
Oh.
looks exactly like the ship that they sank already,
Mm.
is on fire in the Black Sea right off the coast from Snake Island. So it sounds like they threw another one of these weapon systems in a rip boat, sailed out to some island somewhere, and went, oh yeah, there he is. Boom. They didn't do as good a job of hitting it, I don't think, because it was on fire. So
Right.
But at the same time, it's still on fire. And
Well,
that's
I
really
mean,
bad.
I mean, the
Oh,
Moskva was technically on fire.
well, when they dead centered the fucking engine room on it. When your engine room goes down on a boat, and I'm not pretending like I know anything about warships at all, but when your engine room goes down, you don't have anybody to turn on bilge pumps or firefighting pumps, or it's the lights go out, shit like that. And it's not good.
Well, you got to take everything you're hearing about Ukraine with a grain of salt, which is what I try to do, because just talking about the Moskva, Moskva, I saw two simultaneous articles that I read the other day. One of them saying that the captain of the Russian flagship went down with the ship, and then the other one saying that no, he didn't. He actually evacuated with the rest of the crew, and was seen like on a video when they were brought back to safety or whatever. The ones that were able to be evacuated.
Yeah.
On top of that, I mean, you've got like the whole Ghost of Kiev fiasco where you have them saying
That
he's
which
not
is totally
real.
fake.
You have one story saying, okay guys, the jig is up, this guy isn't real. And then you have another one where they backtrack it and they're like, no, he's actually real. He just finally got shot down. Like, he's dead. He died. Like, oh, okay. Yeah. But anyway.
So the propaganda is strong.
It's strong.
In Russia
Yes.
and Ukraine. In Russia and Ukraine, it's funny that Russia, if you know anything about Ukraine, and I've honestly never gave a shit about Ukraine, it's just before now, it's just another East Ukraine country that was broke as shit.
Mm-hmm.
But the funny thing about Ukraine, that Russia invading Ukraine, is that they're both about as corrupt as one another. Like,
Yeah.
they're really fucking bad.
They absolutely are.
Human trafficking, Nazis in their military, like not the Nazis that freaking Antifa accuses people of being. Like, apparently I'm a Nazi because I
not
voted
the fake
for Trump.
Nazis, not the fake Nazis that
Nazis.
just disagree with liberals and Democrats. Well, not even that, just disagree with progressives.
Yeah, well, anybody who doesn't think the same way they do is
Yeah,
a Nazi.
yeah,
But these
yeah,
guys
those
are actual fascist Nazis, like
Yeah.
not the assholes that run around in the South with the little swastika thing, like, oh yeah, I'm a Nazi. You ain't a fucking Nazi.
Oh,
A
yeah,
Nazi would
the
eat you
couple of
alive.
hundred of them that live in the woods somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But these are like actual trained, combat experienced Nazis that are apparently running around Ukraine and committing war crimes so they can blame it on Russia. Because you hear anything about civilians getting murdered right now in Ukraine, you'll be, oh yeah, it was totally the Russians. No, it was the Nazis running around. Because they go around like, well, these guys, we're in Ukraine, so there's no brown people here, but these people are just a shade darker than us. So let's go kill them and blame it on the Russians.
If I remember correctly, that particular, I think there's like a whole unit of them, and they're called like the Azov Battalion or some shit like that.
Azov Battalion, yep.
But they, I guess they're really, I don't want to say they're getting their shit kicked in, because obviously Russia's having to really overwork for any victory in this war, it seems. But I did hear they were the guys that were in Mariupol or something like that, and they finally did surround them, so now they're kind of cornered. So it sounds like they're going to do what they said they were going to do, which is destroy the Nazis.
And I have no problem with that.
Oh, I have no problem with that either. But the thing about that battalion,
Nazis.
Oh, I know,
commies
right?
And Nazis fight.
Yes.
I want a drone. I want drones overhead and popcorn.
What better instance, what event can you get?
And you know what? Drop the Russians some javelins. Fuck it.
Why not? Do it. Fuck it. Yeah, sure. Why not?
And it's like, hey,
give
now
them
we
an
know
F-35.
Yeah.
No, don't do that.
No,
don't do that.
No.
Oh, God, what was it? So I think if I remember right, and I'm going to really sum this up, I think that started off as literally just like what it was. It was just a group of Nazis that were kind of running around that eastern Ukraine region, like the Donbass and all that. If you've ever heard of the war in the Donbass, that apparently has been going on for years. But I guess
Yep.
it was just kind of one of those like groups that kind of sprung up and were fighting the Russians, and eventually it got to the point where the Ukrainian military actually just went ahead and adopted it, like into like their national guard or something like that.
Yeah, it's technically a National Guard unit for them.
But it didn't
And what's
start
really-
off like that. Like it wasn't a part of it. It was just a bunch of Nazis, running around doing that shit. So
And what's really bad is that U.S. Officers have been seen going to Ukraine and talking with them and stuff like that.
of
U.S.
course they
senators
have.
and all that
Why
shit.
wouldn't they?
And it's like, no, we need a reset. We need a hard reset in this country. I don't say that as like an insurgency or the Civil War. I mean, we need to.
At this point,
We just need to fire some people out of the government. That's all we need to do.
At this point, I think when it comes to the war in Ukraine, I think that, and this is just the way I'm looking at it right now, with what I know, what I've heard, I think that we're done. I think that we should be done. I think we should just be like, you know what? We've given you all of our javelins. We've given you all of this shit. We're giving you all of this other shit that we don't use anymore, that we're getting rid of anyway. So here, you can have this. Yeah. We have given you plenty. It's on you. Stop trying to get our military over there to fight side by side with you. You've got enough. Just stop. The whole thing about like money, I'm fine with sending like weapons. Like even back like when the Afghans were fighting the Russians in like the 80s, I didn't see a problem with sending them like old weapons and shit. But I don't want to send them like any more of our taxpayer money. I'm kind of done. For now, at least, I think we need a break. I really wish that Biden would just kind of slow down and stop coming out every day being like, we gotta send them more. It's like, okay, dude, we get it. You grew up in the Cold War. Piss off.
Well, here's my thought on it. And for once ever, we're going to completely disagree with each other here, but that's fine.
That's okay.
I hate that we're sending them money. I'm definitely on the same board with you there, but I think we should fund these motherfuckers with military gear and ammo and javelins and all this shit. I think we should just keep giving it to them, because here's the thing. Russia will run out of shit. They may not run out of people, but they're going to run out of shit. I mean, they can have the world's second largest army or whatever and all that shit, but you know what? They're going to be fucking walking everywhere. I don't know if it was true. It was a meme that says it was like Russia's whatever tank factory, their main battle tank factory, can produce 86 tanks a year. And it showed like General or Raytheon can produce 1,600 javelins a year, and it's just like
you're kind of fucked at that point.
It's like this is going back to World War II shit. We can make more tons of canned goods than these assholes can make in ammo. I mean, it's like well, we need some more. I mean, we're making like mountains and mountains of ordnance. Really,
I want to point out, because maybe I said it wrong. I don't mind sending them weapons. It's the money. I think
you did say that.
It's the money that I have an issue with.
We don't need to fund their government. Fuck that. They're a bunch of corrupt
totally
sacks of shit.
With sending them weapons. Hell, send them all the javelins they want. Send them all of our fucking. What did I see they were sending last? Like APCs or some shit like that. Like the old ones that we don't use anymore.
Yeah, the ones my dad had in Vietnam, the M113s,
okay,
I think.
Fuck it, you can have this. Sure.
Yeah, it's resistant to machine gun fire, but it's not resistant to like any kind of rocket propelled grenade or anything like that. It's a troop carrier. It's not really. It looks like a tank, but it gets taken out a lot quicker than a tank. And it's like, you know what? Give them all that shit. And it's like, we have. So you got that big tank factory. Where the hell is it? It's like Georgia or someplace like that makes the Abrams. Yeah. And it just never is not making an Abrams tank because and it's not because we need them. They actually have like 1,000 more tanks or some goddamn thing than the army even wants. It's like we don't even want to fucking deal with this shit because we got to take care of this shit. So there's all these tanks just rotting away in this giant field over there because the senator doesn't want to piss off his constituents. So he's just basically, they keep ordering tanks. The DOD, I don't know who owns these fucking tanks. But it's like they're all sitting out there in the desert like, wait, so you're telling me some of these things are like 20 years old? How hard would it be to send them a shit ton of outdated M1 Abrams? Because they would kick the fuck out of the Russians with that. Even the old shit. The first gen Abrams would still fuck up any of the shit the Russians have.
Send them the fucking Abrams from the Gulf War. The first one.
Yeah, I mean, and they're not indestructible. There gets to be a lot of idiots who get online like, oh, you can't take one out. It's like, bullshit. They have fucking insurgents taking them out. Yeah,
we lost plenty.
Yeah, we lost a lot of those fucking things. Like I see that on the internet every once in a while on Facebook. Like, oh, they only ever lost 2 in combat. It's like, bullshit. They lost more than that in combat when I was in fucking Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Like, part of Gulf Battery watched one of them get blown up, and the fucking gunny came flopping out of this tank with a fucking leg missing, still shooting around the back of the fucking tank. Whoever blew it up. That was a new story. I hadn't heard about that one. It wasn't next to us in Kajaki. It was that other fire base they set up with our battery.
No, okay.
And I have no idea what happened over there. No idea. Like half of my friends left, and I have no idea what happened. But they were there in Pendleton when I got back. So, but
it's kind of funny how that worked over there. How you just kind of had no idea what was going on, other than what was in unless it was like a big story, a big story.
What was I gonna say? It's like going back to people that they're basically shitbird veterans. They can't be friends with any of the vets because they're shitbirds. So what they do is they just lie to the fucking civilians all the time. Yeah. And one of the big things they do is tell all the fucking civilians like, "Oh, hey, Daniel? Yeah, he's full of shit. I heard that I was in the military when he was, and there was nothing going on in Afghanistan when he was there, so he's full of shit."
There was plenty going on in Afghanistan.
Yeah, it's like, I could just, not to add an emotional an emotional, I don't know, not to be too emotional with this, but it's like, I know a lot of Gold Star families that would be really pissed at them saying that,
Oh, yeah.
It's like, oh, yeah, by the way, nothing was going on in Afghanistan when your kid died. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Let's not get started on that, though. But anyways, Russia sucks, Ukraine sucks.
Yep.
But what we are here today to talk about is one of the most important things that has happened in my life. Growing up, I never had any kind of game console until I went over to my friend's house and I played Halo on the Xbox original. And goddamn, I had to have that fucking game.
Yes.
So I went and got a job. It took me like 6 months to save up the money to get a TV and a goddamn Xbox original and fucking Halo. And I've had an Xbox with whatever Halo was up until recently. This last Halo just sucked ass and I hated it. I didn't even finish it. But anyways. But in the age of streaming, it finally happened. They ran out of shit scripts to run. Yep, here we go. We ran out of shit scripts to run, and Paramount Plus decided to make a Halo show. Thank fucking God. Somebody's going to do this, because all the Halo stuff that has gone on screen in the last 20 years was garbage. I think I watched one, and I can't remember what it was. That's how bad it was. I think it was was it a Reach one? Then they had another one where it was like some Rogue Spartan. It was like a movie. It was a sci-fi movie set in the Halo universe that really didn't have anything to do with Halo. Yeah, it was one of those. It's like they got the rights, but not the story. So anyways, we start this journey. I think we're on episode 7 now of Halo. And I am really, really bored with this show. Like, super bored. And it's like, we're going to go on the record right now this is what I'm going to say. Halo the show was made for people who work at Starbucks and do CrossFit. That's who this show is made for. Okay, that's who this show is made for. There's a lot of good acting in it, and some of the props look really good, and some of the CGI looks really good, but the rest of it is just like, dude, it's like, I don't want to be super Halo snob, but Halo was the first lore that I went into that I truly nerded out on. Like, I read every book that came out, like everything, I think there's a few books I've missed, but I've been kind of like in and out of Halo like for 20 fucking years, since I was 15. And this show pops up and I'm like, oh my God, I gotta see it. I get in there, the first episode, I'm just kind of sitting there the whole episode going, okay, something cool is gonna happen.
Yeah.
Okay, nothing cool has happened. Okay, that's really dumb. But yeah, everything I can talk about, it's already been beat to death on YouTube, but it's like, the Covenant show up, this guy's spraying him with a minigun, doesn't do anything to the Covenant, and then they're like, whoa, 2 scenes later, Master Chief picks up the exact same minigun and just decimates the fucking Covenant with it. And I'm like, did they just not think about this? It's like they were writing like a paragraph, a script, and shooting it at a time. And it's like they forgot because it was 6 weeks ago when the guy was shooting him with the minigun, it didn't do anything. And then it's like Master Chief takes his fucking helmet off on the first episode.
Yep.
It's been 20 fucking years in the fucking video game. He's never taken his goddamn helmet off. Like the end of, what was it? Was it Halo?
He took it off at the end of the first one, but you didn't see it.
Yeah, and they did it again in another one of the games. So it's like, as soon as he took it off, the game ended, like right there.
Yeah, I think in the first one, I do think that you see like maybe the back of his head, but you don't see his face.
Yeah, but you never see his face. And they did that because Master Chief could have been anybody.
Yeah.
And that's an old cliche, worn out thing. Like, this could be you. You could be Master Chief because we didn't put a face on him,
Yeah.
And but yeah, Master Chief takes his fucking helmet off in the first episode. Like, you couldn't figure out how to keep his helmet on or his face obstructed till the last episode of season 1, and then he takes his helmet off. That would be fine.
You didn't need to do it at all. You shouldn't have done it at all.
You didn't need to do it at all. I mean, and there was a couple of the way that the show is written, he's not running around in his armor and blah, 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 blah. But here's the thing. They needed to make a lot of drama. And, like, all these characters are all interwoven, and they all have problems, and they all hate each other, but then they're all related, but then they're all, like, hating each other. It's like, why?
Yeah.
The Covenant is trying to annihilate mankind. That's not enough drama for you to figure out how to do something with it?
Yeah.
I mean...
Well, you have to remember that the creators of this show, or the writers rather, didn't bother to look at the books or the video games. So
I don't think they did.
I think they I think they just kind of knew a gist of it. No, they didn't. They literally didn't. Like, they admitted to it. They didn't look at any of the pre-made Halo universe.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like,
so I'm overqualified to work on the Halo show, and I've never been in Halo.
Yeah, exactly. You could have written a better Halo show by just being a Halo fan and playing the game. Yeah, the Halo writers show says they didn't look at the video game. They didn't even look at or talk about the video games. And I'm fairly certain they did the same thing for the books. Like, they just completely...
It's a cash grab.
Yeah, that's all it is. That's actually what you probably didn't see it, but I pulled up a browser in the middle of you talking there, but I moved it pretty quick. But yeah, I wanted to verify that this was the one, because I knew it was this or Lord of the Rings that they literally came out and said, we didn't even look at the book, or we didn't even look at this whole universe that's already been made.
And that's
Yeah.
God, that fucking is frustrating as shit. Because the
Yeah.
first Halo trilogy, the first 3 books, the first book was pre the Halo game, right?
Yeah.
That was pre Halo game. The second book was the Halo game with extra stories tied into what happened on Halo 1.
Yeah.
The third one was how Master Chief got the fuck off there and survived, along with Sergeant Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a great story. It was fucking good.
Yeah.
It wasn't. I mean, it wasn't the best shit ever, but goddamn, it was good. It made it believable. It was relatable. And it's like that's kind of what I was thinking they were going to start doing with this. Is they're going to make a fucking Halo movie. They're going to base it loosely off the book because that's what they do. But this time it was like they didn't give a shit. They're like, okay, play all the Halo video games and write season 1. It's like, what the fuck is this shit? And it's fucking terrible. So I was watching the behind the scenes of this shit, and like all these people that are playing the Spartans had to go to like a boot camp, and they had to do, all this shit that you do to become, you have to look military, you have to pick up, mannerisms and shit like that.
Yeah.
They don't have any of it. They don't even need it because that's how fucking bad they are. None of them act like fucking vets. None of them act like fucking combat vets or people who've been fighting their entire fucking life.
I'm
they act
convinced
like a
they
bunch
just
of
need
shippers.
to bring in vets when they're gonna make like a war movie. That's because honestly,
I disagree.
Why?
If I was ever gonna make a war movie,
Yeah,
all the people in the military would be 15-year-olds in real life. Because that's how everybody sees us. I'm sorry. They all look like kids. Maybe not 15-year-olds, maybe 16 to 18-year-olds.
Listen, if you would shave your beard, you'd look the way you did the last time I saw you face to face in California.
Well, that's because I never got married, so I haven't ever aged.
I don't look that
still
much
love you,
different.
man.
I just have a beard.
Dude, everybody is jealous of my beard except me. I hate it, and the only reason I have it is because I'm way too lazy to go shave every day.
No, I hate it too. Not your beard, mine.
Yeah.
I don't like facial hair.
You got a strong chin, though, man. You got that. I got a tiny little narrow jaw. But anyways, let's go over some of this. I got a ton of notes on this shit. But, oh yeah, they told Master Chief to kill a kid.
Yeah.
And he responded. He responded the correct way to it. He said, "Fuck you." It's like, we need you to kill a kid. No. And that's how. And for anybody who's never been in the fucking military, that's the way it is. Be like, hey, you see that kid out there in front of your post? Go, yeah. I want you to shoot him. Nah. This ain't how that works. It's like, yeah, I need you to shoot that kid out there. It's like, nah, I ain't shooting shit, motherfucker. It's like, there's one of my favorite quotes in a movie came out of Kingdom of Heaven. And it's when the main character is talking to this king. The king is like 26 years old, but he's dying of leprosy. But he's super wise.
Yeah.
And God, I wish I would have wrote this down before I did this. But he said, "I've watched it a million times."
It's a good movie. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. You don't need to be religious to like it. Like, it's a good movie.
No, so it comes across as a religious movie. It's kind of an anti-religious movie on like all angles.
It really is, like especially with the ending.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but this king, and hopefully your memory is better than mine. But he basically says, can you go before God and say, I was ordered to do thus, and you think God's gonna give a shit that you fucking killed some kid, but your corporal or your Lord, whoever told you to do that. No, God don't give a shit. God just knows that you fucking sent that kid to him a couple years before, Yeah. That's how it fucking works. I mean, it's like, oh yeah, he told me to shoot him. Like, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
It gets into the Marine Corps saying to keep our honor clean.
Yeah.
That's the shit they're talking about.
We have a few slip through the cracks from time to time, but
We do, unfortunately,
Yeah,
but that's the
it's
same as anywhere.
unfortunate. Yeah.
So many plot holes in the battle scene, you can feel dumb watching it. Yeah, like the first fight they had with the Covenant was horrible. It was bad. It was like the fight scene was the Covenant massacring a bunch of civilians that were trying to fight back, and that was good up until the Spartans showed up, and then it was just like, this is bad. It's like, because they're killing the Covenant, but they're running around with like pistols and shit like that. It's like,
Right.
if you go into a gunfight with a fucking pistol, you're trying to get shot. You're trying to die. I don't care if you're wearing fucking shielded and armor and all this other shit. You're gonna get fucking shot. Okay, you can't shoot a fucking pistol hard enough to fucking It's
Yeah.
like it's there's a million reasons why it doesn't work. We're not gonna get into it here, but yeah.
Oh.
So they're taking pistols into combat. Their weapon handling skills are fucking horrible. Just horrible. It's like they didn't get anybody who knew how a fucking gun worked on the show.
Yeah.
And one of the things they did, and I could kind of understand how this happened, but if the Spartans can't hold on to weapons properly because they got so much shit on them as armor that the fucking guns are sitting out here like this when they're trying to shoulder them and shit like that.
Yeah.
It's like you could fuck around and make like a 2/3 size weapon or something like that just the Spartans had,
Yeah.
and make it look right. But they didn't. And so the guns look terrible when they shoulder them. God, there's just so much about that is just terrible. Weapons handling is just terrible in that show.
Did you see? Did you see where they had the what was it? The plasma pistol that they didn't paint?
No, I didn't see that one.
I don't.
didn't-
There's a firefight at some point. I don't know if this is the only time, but it was a prop. The plasma pistol was like made out of wood or plastic or something, and they hadn't painted it yet. But it's funny because you see, it's colored, right? It's colored when the Covenant had it, and then when the Spartan goes to pick it up, it's colored when they pick it up, and then when they go to shoot, it's back. It's wood. It's just plain wood.
I know what you're talking about. It's this scene here. It's the Spartan chick that runs around with pistols, and like she overpowers these Covenant elites and picks up this plasma pistol and overcharges it and takes his head off and shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, and like they have a scene where it's a pile of Marines who are standing there in a firefight, and then a Covenant dropship comes and it drops a bunch of jackals on them.
Yeah.
And the jackals just wipe out the Marines. But like the Marines ain't even fighting back. They're just like, ugh. Like another one's just like standing there, and then a Covenant runs through and hits it. It's like they didn't even put like flashes coming out of
the
their
Marines
rifle.
in Halo 1 gave a better fight than that.
Yeah, it's like they made it.
That game was
But
probably
yeah.
starting in like what? Started development? Probably like what, the late 90s?
It started development in 1999,
Mm-hmm.
and it was supposed to be a PC game, and then I guess oh Christ, I know what company made that because I used to play a lot of their stuff.
Yeah.
I can't remember, but yeah, it started out as a PC game, and then it got switched over. I think Bungie. I think it was Bungie, right?
Yeah, it was Bungie.
Bungie either got bought out or got bought enough of by Microsoft that they had to fucking make it for Xbox.
Yeah. Well,
But yeah, they aren't. And personal bitch about this is that the UNSC Marines were Army ACU. They didn't even put them in the good camo.
yeah.
It's like, no, it's terrible. It doesn't even look more futuristic. Our shit still looks more futuristic than theirs. I mean, what the fuck? It's like, God damn it.
Yeah.
But the fight scenes are terrible in Halo. And like a lot of these episodes are just boring as shit, and it's like they took scenes from other shows and were like, well, let's make this Master Chief and let's do this. It's like, fuck, we've seen this before.
Yeah.
It's like so much of this shit we've seen it before. Like the Admiral Hood, who's actually in the video games. He looks like Admiral Hood out of the video games. But the guy who's portraying him is like in his 70s or something. Like he is like, I'm here to fight the Covenant. motherfucker. It's like, yeah, that guy would not be in the military anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, it's like everybody else like, okay, he outranks us, but we're gonna fucking retire him. Okay, we need somebody who's not gonna have a heart attack if he accidentally drinks the wrong kind of coffee, you know. But yeah. Oh, and the Spartans. Oh my God. So they show the Spartans without their Mjolnir armor on. And they're fucking twigs. I got bigger shoulders than fucking Master Chief is, and I'm like 6 foot and 180 pounds. I'm not big at all. Like, he's fucking tiny. He's got this little tiny ass, and they do a lot of butt scenes in this fucking show.
Of course they do.
Yeah, you see Master Chief's ass, you see a bunch of other people's ass. Master Chief has no ass. Like, they did not. It's like, okay, we need you to be Master Chief. Well, who's Master Chief? Oh, he's just a guy who wears a bunch of armor and runs around and kills shit. Okay, do I need to work out? No, you're fine. That's like,
no, you don't need to work out.
Yeah, and that's another thing they missed in the fucking book was like they were fucking built. They were they stuck out in crowds when they tried doing special forces stuff because they're just fucking ripped as shit.
Yeah.
In the books, and like they completely I'm not even going to save this for last now that I thought about it because this pisses me off so bad. They made fucking Cortana look like a goddamn kindergarten teacher. Like, no tits, no ass, no thighs. Same voice, though, which I think is awesome. But she fucking looks like a kindergarten teacher. It's like, I expected goddamn Halo 1 Cortana with the tits and ass, okay? That's the only thing.
They can't do that anymore, man. No, they can't do that anymore.
No, they can't.
Not allowed to do that anymore.
I can scream about it if I'm gonna fucking get.
Absolutely,
I'm gonna be the old man. I'm fucking screaming about this. This is fucking bullshit.
This is
Cortana.
This is why I often don't bother watching. Like I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan. I have I don't know how many copies of the extended versions. I think I bought like the original DVD and all that. Then I went and bought the extended DVDs, and then I went and bought the Blu-rays extended when they came out. So I love the Lord of the Rings movies. I'm probably not gonna watch the show, just because of shit like this. But
okay,
to be honest, everything that I've seen so far about Lord of the Rings has been making me cringe even more than Halo.
Everyone's gay in Middle Earth. Everyone's super gay.
Oh, it's more than that.
That's what it's gonna be.
That's a story for another time. We'll get into
Everyone's
that later.
Gay. Yeah.
Everyone's gay. Everybody's gay.
Everybody's gay. Yeah, it's funny. It's like when that shit starts, I start playing that everyone has AIDS. AIDS. you want to piss somebody off, like, well, everybody's gay in my freaking book. It's like, so everybody has AIDS, huh?
Oh, Jesus
piss them the
Christ.
fuck off. It's like, you want to get fucking banned? Oh my God.
Wow.
Anyways, yeah, go back to Lord of the Rings. So, me and my dad used to drive from Montana to Alaska through Canada. And this is this is when this giant highway going into fucking Alaska, before it was paved. Mm-hmm. It was the 2000s, and Canada still hadn't gotten this fucking thing paved. I mean, it's like 2,000 miles.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, it's kind of a long drive. It's a long fucking drive. I guess they got it paved all the way, like, I don't know, like 10 years ago. I guess they finally got this whole thing paved. So
then they had to go back to the beginning and start repaving.
Yeah, now they got now they're fucked and they got to start over again. Goddamn, man! I'm not drinking this stuff again for the next podcast we do it.
Okay.
It's got tomatoes in it. It makes me burp like a motherfucker. But God, these things are good. These things are amazing, dude.
Show it to me again.
It's
Oh.
I don't even know. It's Chelada.
Yeah.
Okay. Apparently this is what you drink when you have a hangover. This is your breakfast if you're a hardcore alcoholic. But I love them. They got tomato in it. They taste, but the thing is, you got to sit there and really carefully give them a little, you can't shake them. You got to sit there and get the crap off the bottom.
A little stir, yeah.
A little stir, yeah. Ooh, I just spewed all over your face. Give me a second here.
Well,
I think I shook it a little too hard.
Well, with that
But anyway,
splooge, I actually got to cut it because I'm having some issues here that I have to go handle. I don't know if you can hear it in the background, but
we were just getting interesting.
well, we could probably come back and finish this possibly tonight. But I do have something I need to go take care of right now,
Right.
so I'm gonna cut it here. And if we don't finish tonight, I'll get back at you later. And
I was going
see
to
you all
when we
next
were
time.
driving to Alaska. Okay.
Yeah,
Me and Dad are driving to
so
Alaska.
hold it
We'll start
there.
up.
And yeah, we'll
Alright.
see you all next time. Danny, I might see you here in a little bit.
All right.
All right.